Hello friends. What would you do if you had 60 hours to change the world? This Easter series is called Jesus 60, and I'm looking at what Jesus did with 60 hours and how he changed the world during that time, from around 6 p.m. on Thursday evening to around 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And at this point, Jesus has just been arrested. Judas and a band of armed people have come up to him and arrested him. It's about the middle of the night, and he's been led to the religious leaders in Jerusalem. Now Peter, one of his closest friends, is following him, but at a distance. He's nervous of what's going on and probably wants to protect himself. He doesn't stand with Jesus when push comes to shove. Instead, he stands outside where Jesus is being put on trial, and he's with the guards, some of the Roman guards, and he's warming himself by a fire. And he actually is challenged and confronted by a servant girl of the area, and she says, "Don't you know Jesus? Aren't you one of his friends? Aren't you one of his followers?" And 3 times he just says, "I don't know what you're talking about." Now this is coming from a man who mere hours earlier had been saying, "Jesus, I'm prepared to go to the cross with you. I'm prepared to die with you. I'm prepared to suffer with you." And his talk apparently is a lot louder than his walk. And after it's happened, after he's denied him 3 times, it just says this: the Lord turned and looked at Peter. Jesus had told Peter this was going to happen. He told him that, "You're going to deny me 3 times, Peter. You're not going to die with me. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to deny me 3 times. Peter would have remembered that Jesus said that. And when he saw Jesus look at him, that's all it took for him just to weep bitterly and to realize that he'd been a hypocrite. He'd said things that he wasn't prepared to follow through on. I'd love to know what it was like to look in Jesus' eyes. Even if it was painful, I think he loves us enough that he wants to look at us and challenge the bad things in us. He wants us to look in his eyes and see, perhaps for the first time, some of the reality of our own lives. Peter had promised, and he said, "Look, I'm prepared to die with you." But now, in the harsh light of day, the truth was that Jesus was a man whose walk was a lot louder than his talk. And Peter was all talk and no walk. And now it was very clear: Peter, you're not who you said you were. So just a couple of questions then for today. Firstly, do your actions speak as loudly as your words do? Is your walk as loud as your talk? And then a comforting thought: have you been let down in a big way by someone who said something that they then didn't follow through on? And if you have been, then Jesus knows what that feels like. He knows what that feels like. But Jesus changed the world in 60 hours, and hopefully we'll see something of that over the coming days as we lead up to Easter. See you tomorrow.